What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the VYPE Locker Talk. We're on the campus of the Cannon, home of VYPE. Matt Malatesta, Josh Koch, here bringing you the hottest high school news in the city of Houston and around the state. All right, Josh, new segment. Start with the headlines.
Boom, here we go. Headlines for this week's Locker Talk. On Tuesday night, the Guy V. Lewis Award was given to the best boys basketball player in the city of Houston. This year's award was given to Klein Forest's Kareem McDaniel, who helped the Golden Eagles reach the Class 6A state championship game this season. McDaniel joins previous winners, including College Park's Quentin Grimes, Cy Falls' Nigel Hawkins, Cypress Lakes' De'Aaron Fox, and Westbury Christian's Galen Robinson, who, of course, is now helping the University of Houston get to the Sweet 16. Memorial Mustang Baseball continued its impressive run to start the season with a dominating 10-2 win against Jersey Village on Tuesday. Blake Rutino tossed 6 innings of solid work, getting up just 1 run on 2 hits. Tom Vincent drove in 3 runs to lead the offense. Mustangs improved to 6-0 in district play with the win. Former Cy-Fair pitcher Hayden Wisniewski was named the Southland Conference Pitcher of the Week on Monday. Wisniewski is now 4-0 on the year with a league-best 55 strikeouts in 43 2/3 innings pitched. Strake Jesuits' Matthew Bowling continues to be one of the best in the country on the track as he reached 25 feet and 2.5 inches in the long jump to lead the country. He also holds the top 100-meter and 200-meter times in the nation heading into this weekend as well. Bowling is signed to the University of Georgia. And finally, Texas A&M held its pro day on Tuesday. 52 NFL personnel were on hand at College Station for the event. Former Houston stars, including Otero Alaka, Kwame Etwe, Justin Dorazic, Cullen Gillespie, Kingsley Kiki, Travion Williams participated in the pro day. Of course, Travion Williams, the CE King product, and we have a story right now on VYPEHouston.com about Travion Williams and his hopes of a childhood dream of getting drafted in the NFL here in less than a month. And those are your VYPE headlines.
Well done. Well done, Josh. All right, so let's talk real talk here.
Yeah, let's go.
Here was at the Guy V. Lewis last night. Really cool event. Just think of some of the guys that have come through and won that award. You've got Justice Winslow, who plays for the Miami Heat. You've got McDonald's All-Americans littering that list. And then you've got probably the best Houston area player in almost any sport right now, that being De'Aaron Fox of the Sacramento Kings. He won that, went on to Kentucky greatness. Kyrie McDaniel from Klein Forest. Interesting story. Off the grid. Kind of off the grid entering the season. Klein Forest makes a tremendous run to the state championship game, falls. Kudos to Kyrie McDaniel and the Klein Forest for getting it done. Calvin Solomon also was our player of the year just because of his tremendous run in the postseason where he went against McDonald's All-Americans and had tremendous success against them, leading them to the state championship game. So kudos to those guys. But while there, had a great time at U of H and was able to peek in and hang out with some of our old VYPE kids when we hit the U of H basketball practice. They were getting prepared for the Sweet 16. Galen Robinson looked like a baby when he won the Guy V. Lewis a couple years ago from Westbury Christian, having a tremendous career. He's a senior, really the heartbeat of that team. And you got Fabian White, Atascocita, 2 years ago, was a star at Atascocita. And then Klein Forest has a guy, Cedric. His name is escaping me right now, but he played 2 years ago for Klein Forest. Tremendous career at Klein Forest. Now, not starting, kind of 6th, 7th man for U of H. So those 3 guys really keeping it in-house as it relates to Calvin Sampson's recruiting in the city of Houston. But a couple other guys around NCAA, Sweet 16 news from the city of Houston that are making noise as well.
Yes, I mean, you mentioned those guys, and what a job that Kelvin Sampson has done at the University of Houston. I mean, you get the new Fertitta Center this year, you make the run to the Sweet 16, everything like that, and all the national exposure for the University of Houston for that program has been phenomenal to watch. You can really feel the city of Houston rallying around this team, especially now. It goes back to the Phi Slama Jama days, first time since 1984 that they've been to the Sweet 16. Now, I mean, their road is pretty tough. They get Kentucky next, and then maybe North Carolina after that, and maybe Duke after that. So they're going to win it all, right? I mean, that's an easy path to a national championship.
That's a tough bracket. Hey, Cedric Alley, his name escaped me a minute ago. He's from Klein Forest, kind of a 6th, 7th man coming off the bench for Kelvin Sampson. But how about this? and I would really love our research team and or me and you to do this. What high school has 2 players in the Sweet 16?
Ooh. I know.
Go ahead.
I know. Atascocita. Am I right?
You are right.
I'm right. 2016, Atascocita had a phenomenal season. Actually went undefeated into the state championship game. Lost to DeSoto, who had a very big guy on the other side. But off that Atascocita team, you got a guy named Carson Edwards and Fabian White. Of course, Fabian White we mentioned is at the University of Houston. Carson Edwards is at Purdue. He actually entered the NBA draft process last year. But what's kind of neat is they give these guys up until a certain date to say, okay, do I really want to go through the NBA draft and give up the rest of my college career, or do I want to go back? Well, Carson Edwards went through the process last year, decided, hey, I'm going to go back to Purdue for another year, and he is balled out this year, which is what everyone expected. He dropped 42 points, hitting 9 3-pointers against Villanova, which is not a bad team.
Defending national champions.
And talking to his former coach David Martinez, he was like, it was like having flashbacks to watching him do it in high school. I remember watching him come up the court thinking, okay, he gets to this certain spot on the court, he's going to shoot. And if they give him 5 feet of room, he's going to shoot. And he would do it. And he would hit the shots. And now that's what he's doing at Purdue. And a phenomenal for David Martinez. He's having so much fun right now watching these 2 guys play in the Sweet 16. He told me in his bracket, he's got them meeting in the Final 4, but he wouldn't tell me who he picked to go to the national championship game.
Well, really cool that those 2 guys, I got a chance to talk to Fabian White yesterday, and he said, hey, we talk on the phone all the time. He's, really happy for his teammate at Purdue. Amazing story for that Atascocita program having 2 guys there.
Yeah.
A dude off the grid, though, right, is the paths of some kids just take right turns. Javon McCormick, not really recruited heavily out of Langham Creek High School. He ends up going to Lee College in Baytown and finds himself now in the mix at Auburn. And, he's one of their really most trusted 3-point shooters for them. Javon McCormick in the Sweet 16 for Auburn. Kudos for him. Just sticking with it because, not a D1 guy out of high school. Got to take that grindy, bumpy road route, and he gets there nonetheless. Let's talk about the girls' side.
And sometimes, real quick, and sometimes it takes players, like when Bruce Pearl came into Auburn and wanted to put it together, it takes sometimes those transfers, those college guys that kind of went other paths to get there. You see it a lot. I know Texas Tech did it right when Chris Beard got there. He kind of had to piece some things together, and it works out. It's great to see him. And how about Auburn? I know Charles Barkley is going nuts right now that Auburn is in the Sweet 16. So, but awesome for him.
Those type of guys get super hungry, and they take the path is hard, but they love the grind to get there. Speaking of tremendous kids that came out of Houston, another McDonald's All-American, Brianna Turner, is on a number 1 seed Notre Dame. She's tremendous defensive specialist. ACL'd last year. Notre Dame wins the national championship. She missed that. Now this year she wants a title of her own. She was a star at Manville, won a state championship there. Kaylin Martin, another name from Langham Creek, keeps popping up. She plays at Texas A&M. She's a senior. She's kind of not relied upon tremendously for scoring, but great defense, a post player, gets great rebounds. Also for Texas A&M, she, is making her mark also in the Sweet 16. All right, transition time. Let's go baseball, softball. Let's talk about some of the top teams in the city. Let's start baseball.
Well, right now, still the top team is Cy Ranch, but quickly climbing that list is Houston Memorial. You seeing what they're putting together. They're now 18-2 on the season. They're 6-0 in district play. They beat a good Jersey Village team on Tuesday night, who was previously undefeated in district. But talking to Coach Jeremy Gork, they're just kind of putting it together. They're getting it from all parts of the lineup. It's not really this guy and that guy every single night are doing it. Sometimes it's their 7 through 9 hitters. It's their 1 through 3 hitters. Their pitching is phenomenal. Of course, they got Tom Vincent over there. They've got Jared Plank as well.
They're loaded, dude.
Blake, when you have the pitching, that helps. But then they were going up there, and it was really just smart baseball. I mean, they got a lot of speed on the bases, and anytime a ball gets past the catcher, they're moving. They know how to play small ball. They hit a couple doubles last night, but it was a really impressive team to watch and one to watch as they push through the rest of the season.
We got, they're going to have to face Cy Ranch in Region 3. You've got the Woodlands and Oak Ridge battling it out in a very tough district up there, 15-6A. So that's the baseball. How about softball? Klein Collins, I was at their game. Number 1, Klein Collins played number 2, the Woodlands. Klein Collins does it with pitching and power hitting. They hit 3 bombs against the Woodlands. They're really, really good. We've got some 5A teams that are also making some noise.
Yeah, so I mean, you look at the 6A, and it's like you've got those powers up there, Klein Collins stuff. 5A, I finally moved them up above Angleton last week, which I don't know how the fans in Angleton feel because they were undefeated at that point, but Barbers Hill is putting together a season. I'm talking, they have only lost 2 games, and that was to Klein Collins. That was a 1-run loss, and they lost to Katy, which was a 1-run loss. This is a 5A team losing these kinds of games to 6A teams. Their pitching is unbelievable. Jessica Mullins kind of leads that crew heading into the end of last week. She had a 0 ERA through 43 innings.
I don't know.
That's pretty good. Sydney Hoyt's hitting the ball, just the cover off the ball, and they're doing everything right. But when I talk to the coach out there, it's just one of those things that's like Aaron Fuller knows how to get this team to a state tournament. He's done it twice in his coaching career. Now it's how do you get there and win it? And he says that they work a lot on the mental side of the game. They want his girls to approach every at-bat, every pitch is like the 7th inning of a state tournament, state championship game. So
that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way you win ball games.
Playing really well. But also playing really well is Angleton. Angleton softball is playing very good ball right now.
All right, so cool story. Time machine time. We go back in our time machine a couple years back. On our cover was Jamison Talion. Jamison Talion is now the opening day starter for the Pittsburgh Pirates, was once gracing the cover of VYPE Magazine's baseball preview. How about that?
I mean, you called it then. You got, I mean,
it was pretty hard because he was the number 2 overall draft pick in the Major League Baseball draft that year.
And kind of cool with the Pirates. Cabrian Hayes working his way up, spent spring training this year with the Pittsburgh Pirates, hit a walk-off grand slam as well.
Concordia Lutheran product.
He is starting to flirt with the show, starting to get there, and I think he's going to be a fun guy once he gets up there. I think the Pirates actually do come back in the regular season this year to take on the Astros here at Minute Maid. So
his dad is Charlie Hayes. Charlie Hayes was a long time MLB player as well, but he's got the genes. He will definitely get there. All right, let's transition to track real quick. Fort Bend Marshall lighting it up on the track, right? Lloyd Banks, tremendous coach. He's got a loaded lineup of football/track athletes. That's why their football team is so good. They reached the state championship, but they are. Let's just fit them for the rings already. They're going to win 5A state championship in track. That will be 4 to 5 years.
I'm just checking. I'm just checking the date on my phone. March 27th.
Book it, bro.
You're gonna book it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Right.
I'm not. I mean, anybody that knows, and we know this watching the Woodlands over the last few years. If you have the relay teams that can go and you can go win the 4x1, the 4x2, and the 4x4,
you win.
That's a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of points at state. And then if you can get a couple individuals to go in there, you're state champions. So
yeah, so that's exciting from them. The Woodlands has a very interesting group of throwers. Pippery is the younger brother of Trip Pippery. He's going to Texas. He's one of the best shot putters in the state of Texas. Sean Stavanoa, another thrower there at the Woodlands. He's headed to the University of Texas. You got 3 guys from UT in the throwing program that are all from the Woodlands, and they're all dominant. So that's exciting. We'll see how that plays out, see if they can win state.
Got a couple other names to throw at you that are doing really well. Hopefully I pronounce this right. Rachel Masijeski from Tomball, pole vaulter, 2nd in the country right now with her pole vaulting. Morgan Janda, Ollie Badenhorst at Seven Lakes, volleyball players, 8th in the state of Texas right now in the high. Really well. But let me tell you, the distance runners in Houston are unbelievable. I think if I looked right, it's like 8 of the top 10 times in the country in the 3,000 meter, the 1,500 meter race are owned by Houston girls. And I know Heidi Nielsen over at Cinco Ranch owns the top time, and she owns the top time in the 3,000 meter and the second best time in the 1,500 meter in the country.
You know what I think about when I think of cross country running is, when can I stop? Like
when you cross the finish line.
No, I would stop. Mentally, I'm very fragile when it comes to running. I would stop like 100 yards in. All right, really, really quick. Football, got a chance to go out to U of H, talk to Dana Holgerson. Is super impressed with Derek King, the Manville quarterback. Could be a potential Heisman hopeful for them this year.
No. Not potential. Not potential.
Yeah.
Heisman hopeful.
He's coming off a knee. So we got Derek King from Manville. Tremendous quarterback. Is going to fit right in that system of Dana Holgerson. They're really, really high on Jordan Jones, the Fort Bend Bush offensive lineman. He's a pro, but they've got some tremendous pieces to work with next year at Oliver's Pro Day, as I think today or tomorrow. So, the scouts will be all over the place checking them out, but there's some other, really talented guys that they'll be looking at as well.
I'm really interested to see what, how much University of Houston looks like West Virginia next year. Just kind of that offense. It's the Big 12 was always known. Big 12 is always known for high octane offenses and throwing the ball. And Dana's kind of the disciple of that offense. If my memory serves me correct, I think he was on Mike Leach's staff back in the early 2000s, and then he's worked his way up, and it was at U of H years ago, and then now he's back as the head coach. But man, talk about a great piece to walk in. You have Derek King, who's coming off the season that he had, which I still think he should have still been invited to New York for the Heisman Trophy presentation. I mean, he had like 50 touchdowns.
I tell you what, fun times at U of H right now. I mean, basketball,
great facilities,
football facility. Fertitta, they got a dude there that's just making it rain. Tremendous support from one of the, a billionaire. That doesn't hurt. But anyways, okay. So this is a weekly segment. You got Josh Cook to my right, Matt Malatesta right here. We are Locker Talk. Behind the camera, Bradley Collier making it work. Executive producer, our man, Scott Terrell. Every week, check it out. Locker Talk. You can see us on Spotify. What else? Apple.
You can listen to the podcast version of us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Perfect.
You can watch us on YouTube and Facebook and all those things. And don't forget also, we have a new podcast as well called Behind the Playbook that you can go and listen to exclusive interviews of coaches around the city of Houston. Go to Apple Podcasts, type in Behind the Playbook, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating. That will also be a weekly podcast as well.
All right. Also, finally, follow us, VYPE Texas, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, VYPE Houston on Twitter, and VYPE.Houston on Snapchat. Check us out on all these platforms. We're dominating the high school space in the state of Texas right here. Boom. We'll see y'all next week.